I'm Dr. Stephen Saunders. I invite you to take a journey with me into the realm of mystery and imagination, otherwise known as the paranormal.
We lived on a lake in Lake Worth, Florida, and I had a dream. And in the dream, I saw very, very vividly that I was out on the boat with my uncle and my dad. My dad was skiing. My uncle was at the back of the boat. Well, actually, he had left the steering wheel to go to the back of the boat and steer by the motor. And in my dream, he fell overboard right by the motor. And it happened exactly the same way the next day. And when it happened, it's like I knew instantly that it was going to happen. And I jumped and was able to cut the steering wheel over. But it was amazing because it happened exactly the way my dream had been. I believe that, we can have dreams, and I attribute it, to God, other than, like just regular nightmares or something like that, or something that's maybe subconscious. I feel like God was just preparing me, because I was only like 11 at the time, and I would end up being the only one in the boat at the time, and with him going over the back and me knowing ahead of time what was going to happen, it allowed me to take quick action to do something about that. So.
Precognition? Or is this merely an incredible coincidence? Once again, you be the judge.
I definitely saw what I came to know as a shadow person. And whatever it is, it's still there. It just has only appeared to me twice. But on 2 occasions, I saw something that I didn't know what it was. It scared me. It was probably evening. The lights were off in most of my house, and I was walking down my hallway. And I'm walking past the doorway that goes into my bathroom, and I see something out of the corner of my eye. So I turn and I look, and I see this silhouette of a person just standing there at the opposite end of my bathroom. And as soon as I look up and make eye contact with it, it moves behind the door, and I don't see it. So I thought that was kind of weird. It was clear that it was a person standing there, and they were wearing some type of like hat, which was kind of weird. Not too long after that, maybe a few days, week later, I was laying in bed, and my door was open, and I look up, and standing in my doorway was that same silhouette of a person, wearing a hat. And as soon as I looked up and saw it, it went into the doorway into my bathroom and went back into my bathroom. That scared me. I didn't know what it was. When I was walking down the hallway, I hightailed it to where I was going and turned the lights on.
Shadow people, what are they? Are they merely the imagination? Are they merely the mind's effort to fill in a nebulous pattern into some sort of coherent whole? Or are they instead truly beings interlaced into our own dimensional framework? A noted scientist recently commented that dark matter and dark energy are actually parts of the universe as a whole, laid on top of the dimension that we see all around us. Could these shadow people merely be dark matter beings?
So also in St. Augustine, there's this old prison, and since we're both interested in prison psychology, we thought this would be ideal for us. It's a closed down prison, and they basically take you in the middle of the night and equip you with more than just a K2. And so there's this one cell when you first walk in, and there's supposedly a lot of activity, a woman that used to be there. And so that night we were together and we were trying to talk to the woman, and we're standing there together, and all of a sudden her K2 meter just lights up. So it seems like it just kind of walked through us, and then we eventually chased it down into the cell, and she didn't want to be bothered, it seemed like, because she was trying to avoid communication, and she didn't really talk or do anything that gave us much activity other than us chasing her. But that was pretty much the gist of that experience.
Mm-hmm.
Are these women true scientists, paranormal researchers, ghost hunters dedicated to the truth? Or are they merely persecuting and annoying an innocent ghost who means no one harm and merely wants to be left alone?
Absolutely, we are annoying and persecuting the ghost.
In the house that I live in now, one of the first things to happen, it's like 2 in the morning, and I was on my computer. My mom's room and my room are right next to each other, and we live in a 2-story townhouse. I would hear like scratches, and I wouldn't know where it was coming from. So I kind of ignored it at first, but then the scratches got louder, and it would go from the wall in front of me to the wall behind me. And then I freaked out, so I got my pillow and my blanket, and I just started going downstairs, and Mom was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Well, this is kind of what I hear." And she's just like, "Well, you're watching TV, it's late, go to bed." So I went back to my room, and I tried not to think about it, and the noises went away. About 10 minutes later, they started again, but more rapidly, and sort of all around the 4 walls of my room. So my mom, she came into my room, like it stopped, and then it started again because she didn't believe me at first, and then she went and she punched the wall to where she heard the noise, and it stopped. I thought that was kind of weird.
Should he call Ghostbusters or truly Nolan the Exterminator? Could the sounds be nothing more than rats? Rats in the walls? What other plausible explanation could we develop for this phenomenon? So we've had a lot of fun producing this parapsychology video series for you all, but there are several lingering questions that we have to think about as we begin to analyze the stories and the data. First of all, every single one of these stories, the people that told them believed them to be true. So this bears into mind, what is that all about? Is it, on the one hand, a person who so desires to have a paranormal experience that this desire in and of itself causes them to encounter things that they interpret as paranormal, when in fact it may simply be nebulous stimuli, it may be an odd sound, a strange sight, a bizarre feeling, that then they interpret it as being something that's supernatural or paranormal? Or is it a sense where a person truly does attempt to use the scientific method? They attempt to use data that they collect with their 5 senses, and then they take that data and they use that data in such a way that it interprets it to be a paranormal phenomenon, when another scientist may interpret the data as something completely different. That's something that you have to decide, and once again, you have to be the judge.